Howdy, folks. It's Michael with the CCERP podcast, E for Ecology. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're getting out, getting some sunshine. I know we're, at least some of us in some places, coming out of the COVID stuff. Not so restricted. No mask, no lockdown. Not being made to stay in your house and unable to go to a grocery store. But I know there's some people that suffer that still, unfortunately. Totalitarian governments locking people down and all this stuff. But get out, get some sunshine. If you can, don't go to jail, please. But unless everyone in your area goes to jail and the government can't put everybody in jail, so it's a major protest or something like that. That'd be cool.
There you go.
But so today our guest is Roary. And what is your actual last name?
So my last name is Archibald, but since all the MovNat guys, I just wrote down my middle name Kiah because it seemed a cool ring to it, Roary Kiah.
Okay,
so
that's what it is. Yeah.
Danny, I thought that was my last name when he wrote everything down for my event.
Okay, that's funny. And everybody, Danny is, if you don't know, Danny Clark is one of the leaders in corporate of MovNat, and we can talk about MovNat later. For some that don't know about it, most people listening will, but not everyone in the world does though. So, and then when Roary, when you went to your level 1 first or level 3 certification for MovNat, the fitness system, did he get it wrong or what? Level 3 or what?
Level 3, yeah, he got it.
That's funny. Yeah,
it was an awesome time.
So, yeah. But we'll talk to Roary today. Roary Archibald. About whatever happens, nature, movement, stuff like that. So how's your day been, Roary? What's you been up to?
I have a nice routine. I sleep outside pretty much right behind where this camera is sitting.
Oh, cool.
I've been in that practice for nearly 12 years or something. Just something about breathing really nice outside all night and being part of this dramatic scene sometimes. So I live bordering behind me, if the camera can see, kind of national forest. So I can wander into the woods as deep as I want in Colorado here. So we have bear and moose walk by pretty often.
Nice.
And so I get to kind of wake up in the middle of the night and hear this stuff scruffling around over there, whatever it is. So cool. I just like being part of that drama. So cool. I'm up super. Yeah. Got the kids all ready for school. It's my daughter's last day of preschool today. That's cool. Crazy. That goes fast. And I'm just enjoying the outside.
And when you look up at the stars, is it pretty much like the ancients saw, just this vast three-dimensional depth, or is it wiped out by glare?
No, I live in Denver for that. So the whole eastern sky, the glow of Denver quite a bit, but anywhere straight up and then to the west is still pretty clear. I mean, a lot of the constellations pull out, and it kind of varies day by day, but shooting stars all the time.
Sweet.
You can define Big and Little Dipper, North Star stuff most nights.
Cool.
So for being in Denver, this is pretty clear up here.
Cool. And just so folks know, you sleep outside, and are you scared of rattlesnake attacking you and strangling you and killing you, or a bear coming up and having you for lunch and picking its teeth with your bones, or a mountain lion coming after you?
That's a very common question a lot. Actually, not at all. Rattlesnakes aren't actually up this high because I live kind of high altitude. Bears, I've had dozens of encounters with bears, and dominantly most of the time, I just tell them no. As it's a buddy trespassing. And he, at least last time he looked at me and stopped. Then he looked around and he made this huge arc around, he gave me a big wide section to where he avoided me entirely. So it's been kind of relaxing with the bears, honestly.
Yeah. You got mountain lions up there?
I have a story, but...
Pardon?
Moose, a little bit different of a story. They're a lot more aggressive, and one charged the fence one night because my dogs are out barking at it. And that gets a little intimidating. Those things are ginormous. I can't believe how big those things are.
Yeah, how much do they weigh?
Oh, they could be like 1,100 to 1,500 pounds, easy.
Wow. Yeah.
It seems like you could walk straight underneath one. Like you can't. It just seems like it. They're so big. They're bigger than horses for sure.
Wow. And so you're not scared, like, or if you're not scared of sleeping and having a polar bear come grab you by the arm and pull you away, and you're just going to scream like a 2-year-old, ha, 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 ha. You're not scared that's going to happen? Yeah.
No, definitely not. And the only scary thing about outside is like if it gets way too cold all of a sudden or starts dumping rain in the middle of the night or something like that. But animals don't really seem to be a problem. I mean, you got to mitigate that correctly with good practices and all that. But for the most part, yeah, I almost don't even give it a thought anymore.
People can look it up. I think I've got a post on my blog about that. But you look up on Wikipedia, bear attacks, mountain lion attacks, pretty much nothing. People freak about that, or snakes. Constantly. If people had a better education instead of wasting time with DNA, which no one ever uses, it's important for some people. Definitely, we need to know DNA. Very, very important. But for most people, shouldn't be part of their education. Zero ability. I mean, how does it come up in your everyday life? None. So I have DNA. Yeah, right. Like, how does that really affect my decisions? None. They should be learning about bears and stuff like that. So when they go hiking, they know they're safe, or about snakes because they're around, wasps and stuff like that. Or you look up dogs, instead of being concerned about mountain lions or bears, hell, look up dogs. There's so many damn deaths from dogs, they can't even keep it on one page in Wikipedia. It's like page after page after page. And that's not even bites and injuries. That's just deaths, nothing else. They couldn't, if they added everything else, they couldn't even fit it. Or, you really want a problem, look up people. People worry me, not like mountain lions and bears. I'm like with...
that would be hilarious. Yeah.
Like what's the name? The Crocodile Whisperer in one movie. He said, I'd rather be around wild animals than most people. It's like Steve Irwin. And I heard that. Yes, someone else agrees with me. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a lot more predictable. I mean, people you don't have a clue what's going on in that person's life. If some wandering crazy guy was up here, that would be terrifying. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then every snake I've seen is scared and runs away. But are criminals going to do that? No. Like dogs and criminals, they freaking pursue you. They will be relentless. They do not give up.
That's a domestic animal trait. They're protecting themselves. Terribly aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so good. No worries about that. It'd be nice to sleep outdoors here, but in the summer, too many mosquitoes. I'd be eaten alive.
I was just about to ask about that. Is that like a humid climate where you're at? I've never been out there.
Yeah, so near the Gulf Coast, where I am in Houston, I don't know, we're I forget, 60, 70 miles from the Gulf Coast. And it's interesting, years ago, I found some map someone had made up looking at the cities of Europe on the United States and the cities of the U.S. In Europe and the world cities. But where I am in Houston, we're on the same latitude as Suez, like the Suez Canal, with Alexandria in northern Egypt. That's pretty cool.
Huh, that is cool.
Yeah, I don't remember what latitude we are at, but nice area, a lot of sunshine, a lot of good vitamin D production. Not so much all year round, because the sun will be up about 87, 88 degrees in the summer at the most, maybe 89. And then it dips down to about, 33, 35 degrees above the horizon in the winter. So by that, folks, I mean at noon, when the sun is the highest in the sky, it can be. In the winter, it's only about 35 degrees or so off the horizon in our winter. But in the summer, it gets up. It's not directly overhead, but it's pretty close, about 88 degrees. So it's pretty interesting that it varies by over 50 degrees from winter to summer.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing about where I'm sitting is I put a bunch of glass panes and whatnot on the south-facing section of my house, so that same angle of the sun in the wintertime directly comes into the house and helps kind of produce the heat, so that's called solar gain. And then in the summer, it's already like way over there, so no sun even goes through the glass, so it keeps it nice and cool.
Nice, cool. Nice idea. Yeah. So have you like been out today in the woods, nature this morning yet, or you do that later, or what?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, my first protocol, let's call it, when I wake up, you know, I kind of roll my bed up so my older dog doesn't come out and pee on it. And then I wander off, like, pretty much right behind me. There's a little trail that goes through a meadow, and then there's some old logging roads. I was out there following a turkey this morning.
Oh, cool.
It's like one by itself that I've been seeing for maybe a week and a half, just kind of putzing around. And I was just following him this morning till the sun came up.
Cool. Nice. How long were you out?
Oh, maybe 40 minutes or so.
So in the morning, is the protocol to take it easier and explore, or do you make it like in the mornings? Do you like go hard with some exercise, or what?
I mean, it kind of depends. I don't feel like any morning is exactly the same. It's kind of based on like how I feel once I wake up. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I could be a little sore after like a hard day of one of my jobs. Mm-hmm. So I'll kind of just do some ground movement stuff until the kids start waking up. Some days like this morning, I just felt terrific. So I get up, get some water in the system, and to get the blood flowing, I kind of just like jog down this trail and then start stalking around, avoiding the raspberry bushes because there's tons of them up here.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and it varies every day.
Same here. I get a lot. Go ahead. What?
Morning routine. I'm like, I don't have one. It's like it's always different.
But yeah, I like to get out in nature, get some exercise in some way or other every morning to wake up. It's interesting. Gets my brain going more, not just blood flow and stuff, but neurological activation, more demanding environment, more stimulating, more interesting. And then sometimes I'll work out hard, and sometimes it's like there's I'll go to an area where there's some nice tracks, and I'm too busy looking at the tracks and taking pictures of the tracks, and then, oh, look, there's some butterflies, and I'm spending a long time chasing all these different butterflies, trying to get close to take a picture with my iPhone. And
well, that's being out and hiking without some sort of like expectation, which I think is a hugely powerful thing. Don't let like point A to B be the way that you're going. You're kind of just like out there, and then whatever draws your attention, like start following that. If you're on tracks, like study those, looking around and like the butterflies, like you said, or it's like something intrigued me. Rock. I'm gonna hike up to this rock. Like, I think the connection of like moving like that in the early mornings gets a lot more of the neurology kind of spinning in the mind. And then for me, it's like, well, now I can start tackling like emails and shit when I get home, because I'm really, really bad at that. But in the early morning, after those little like movement sessions or whatever you want to call it, the little nature wanderabouts, it definitely feels like the brain fires right up, and it's like a quick it's slow bugs, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge like core between that moving in the morning and getting the brain working.
Yeah, feel more alive. Spending the morning on something dead, answering emails for a while, or doing computer stuff, and then going out. It's just not the same. I got to get out first. Get into reality. Be surrounded by life, not a bunch of like dead inanimate stuff.
I talk about that all the time. That's funny. Nobody considers like a house or concrete or roads like either dead or alive. They just kind of like accept that as the way. And I'm like, no. This is like lacking of biology in its entirety. Like,
amen.
You need to be alive.
Amen. But then, yeah, like you, there's some mornings where, like one day, a few days after doing some squats and deadlifts with a section of telephone pole, I found this log near a creek, and I wanted to use it for exercise. And so I picked that thing up and carried it on my shoulder and put it down. I carried it like, it wasn't a steep creek. It was under a bridge where it was slightly slanted but kind of rough because there was a washout. And so going up the slope, but involved, not just flat. Then I carried the thing and I put it down. And man, it's like carried it a little bit on each shoulder. Literally, it must have been. It took me like 2 weeks or 5 weeks to recover from that. I was like tutoring online that day with some kids, and I'd have to keep sitting down. I'd keep my whole core kept tightening up, not just my back, but my stomach too, and I couldn't breathe sometimes, barely. It was like, so intense after doing that deadlift and squat workout. I don't know how much that thing weighed, but yeah, it's like, you can do stuff in nature that you just can't do in the gym, and much more interesting. So yeah, sometimes it's like,
agreed.
You do super hard, and then like you're going easy for like a little easier or moderate for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, totally.
So
and then that's like the power of nature. Even the idea of the foot. So you're like carrying something where, it's obviously heavy and kind of like awkward.
Yeah.
When you're in nature, like this pitch in the creek, like you're speaking, every single footfall is slightly different. So in that difference is the nervous system's response has a completely different chain of your muscle tissue per footfall.
Cool. Interesting.
So it's like if you're doing the exact same thing on a sidewalk, you're doing the same footstep every single time, which isn't really provoking the range of potential in your whole body.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful.
And then one day people will catch up when there's some way to measure it, when there's some meter and they can look on their watch and not just measure footsteps, but measure neurological challenge. And then some people will do it. In the meantime, we'll wait for them to catch up.
Well, I know. They need a robot to tell them what's justified or not. They can't just do it and feel it anymore.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, cool. I have like a spike of 3.4 milliamps today, and my average milliamp use was, and I like worked 3,562 neurons instead of the usual. Yeah.
Oh man, couple years, that kind of watch will come out pretty soon, and then people justify getting out there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's. I'm glad you're on the page with that, because that seems to be the wrongful way to take over your own like fitness and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Where you just feel it, like you feel the difference of doing like crawling or squat workouts in the gym versus kind of just moving shit around outside. Like my movement practice looks nothing like I'm typically teaching in a MovNat class, but I'm busy like trying to build my house. This thing's kind of in shambles, so I'm slowly trying to chisel at it. But most of the day it's like I gotta move this heavy rock or all this firewood.
Yeah.
And I just pick it and move it over here. So I'm using all these varied positions and movements, and I try to be strictly barefoot, even like using a stone saw and cutting flagstone.
Cool.
It gives me the serious risk of like, well, if I fuck this up, my feet are like I'm going to lose a toe or break my foot or something like that. So I noticed even carrying heavy stones like sloan blocks is what we call it, these big things we build steps out of. If I'm carrying that barefoot, I am so much better at carrying it because I have to worry about the risk of smashing my feet. Yeah. Whereas I don't think about that when I have like work boots on.
Yeah, and people think it might be dangerous and you're being irrational, but when you look up some of the literature, for example, bicycle riding, when people wear helmets, that can actually make things more dangerous. Because then, if you stop to think about it, you're wearing a helmet, so you'll take more risks. Oh, I can go ahead and do this. Or drivers in cars know you have a helmet, so they can take a little bit more risk. Oh, they're protected. Nothing will happen. Like, I can go ahead and do this. They have a helmet on. So there's all kinds of things like that that come up. Whereas if someone doesn't have a helmet on, you're going to be more careful and other people around you.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's putting thought towards that potential risk that, like you said, when you're protecting yourself so much, you lose sight of the insight. Lose sight of the insight. Makes sense. About what you're like trying to do. So the same thing with the shoe. You don't think about what is even on the ground. You just walk, and then you end up with this kind of sidewalk gait pattern where your heel's cracking like crazy and you're not really thinking about it. just ditching the shoe immediately makes you so much more aware of everything going on. And that's just like neurology. That's your brain like actually communicating with the nerves at the bottom of your feet. There's a reason most of them end at the bottom of the foot, is to receive that kind of bioelectricity like stimulation in your brain.
Yeah.
It's a serious science in there that's very simple to me.
Now, you say this morning you went...
Like high school
Pardon? What?
It's like high school biology. Like, there's only paragraphs about cell adaptation and nervous system function on that, but it's there. Nobody paid attention to that when they were in school.
And that's what should be there, more in physical education and biology. Cut out some of this stuff that's too abstract or too high level. Look at some of the stuff that led people to understand that. Yeah, like barefoot, going without gloves in your hands, touching things, using your feet, all that adaptation. Yeah. You say this morning... Pardon?
Absolutely.
You say this... Was it this morning you say you went tracking a turkey?
Yeah.
And how did you recognize the tracks?
I heard it making this kind of little like... And then a little bit later, it's like a... kind of thing. So I heard it more than I saw any tracks. So when I wandered down, I'm like logging road next to this little brook, and then I just kind of see it walking up in this kind of miniature lodgepole forest that's starting to come back a little bit. So I just kind of like followed him. I guess I wasn't tracking him. I was just following him.
And you say...
Seeing what he was doing.
About half a mile, or how long did you track it?
Maybe about a half a mile or so. I mean, where I was is kind of in view of the camera. There's a thick forested patch on top of that hill, and then this like bald area where there was a big logging cut. I was kind of in the middle of that, so it's like in view of.
And so you just followed
about a half a mile.
So you just followed it at a distance for a while?
Yeah, I want to see what it was up to, and I just like the practice of like stalking. So if I can mimic its pattern and then make it more comfortable with me being there, maybe it's like my own way of educating myself on to hunt one when the season permits, So I mean, I'm curious of like animals. I was watching this bear. I think this might have been last summer, but he was reminding me of like an older drunk dude. Like he was really curious about what his butt smelled like, and he would scratch his back on this tree, and then he was like 10 minutes digging in his own butt. And it was just really funny. So how he was walking was like he would slip on a log and then like just kind of have this little burst of a run, and then he'd stop again, and then he jumped in this pond. Like he's like a kid just playing around. So watching these like innocent behaviors from animals that two people have this like dangerous attitude towards, or like that's a dangerous animal. It's like you should just watch them for a little bit. It's amazing what they do. They're just like children.
Yeah.
It was
cool. Were you like the turkey? Were you in visual distance from most of the time, or?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it is mostly just following it, not so much tracking.
Yeah, following it. I mean, if I got curious of what his foot was doing, just to study, the art of tracking and some of the Tom Brown stuff. I know you've had him on your show before.
Yeah, awesome.
The whole pressure release, and it's like, well, I remember him doing this, so if I get to that spot where the tracks is, maybe I can see that neck movement out of the back end of the foot track or whatnot. So it's kind of just that's my classroom. That's my education system. Watch, observe, test, and see what shit I just make up of what I think about what happened.
Yeah, and so folks, Tom Brown has been a guest on the podcast. You can listen to that. He's a big tracker, survivalist in the United States. Teaches some good classes. He'll be doing something upcoming with MovNat. Danny will be going out there with him.
I will definitely be out there.
Sweet. And can you tell folks briefly what's this pressure release thing you're talking about?
So a pressure release is like, I can kind of define that in two different ways. Maybe Tom would have, 30 different ways to describe that, but as you place your foot, and if you stall or if you immediately take off into another step, there's these small little kind of changes that could happen on the edge of the track. And I can't remember a lot of the like science language that he talks about, but it's like defining a plate versus like a fissure or a crumble can define the speed and direction of an animal either standing or walking. So you can kind of read back through the book, let's call it the nature book of looking at the ground, and tell what that animal was potentially doing. Even if it was standing in one spot and then it like turns to the side, there's going to be a kind of crack break going off of the backside in the opposite direction of what that animal would move. And a good way to test that with your own, like with anybody's like movement practice, is stand in like a sandbox and put a lot of mindful attention into what your feet are feeling like, and then just like pick up your arm or like take a deep breath. You'll notice subtle little changes in your feet, so your feet can respond to literally anything that the rest of your body's doing. And if you learn to read it, all of that registers in the track.
Mm-hmm. And then earlier, in terms of pressure release, you talked about the head moving or something. So how would you tell folks about how would like the head movement relate to pressure and release? What do you mean?
So at the same bit, it might be easier for people to experience that on their own, standing in the sandbox and moving their head and being mindful. But the same, like, let's say if my head kind of shrinks down a little bit, like I'm trying to look underneath something, the pressure on the forefoot is going to change, since the whole body structure kind of backward angles from, the back of the head all the way to your butt, forward through your knee, backward to the ankle, and then forward to the foot. So the head going down will make all these other kind of impacts show up in the track. So it'll be almost more pressure. So if you stood straight up and then just kind of ducked really quick, you're going to make a slightly deeper track if you're testing your sandbox thing.
Yeah, so
that like basic observation to kind of feel out what you might think the animal was doing at that time.
So you can look at
how Tom Brown is like so intense to where they can tell actually ate that day, or if it was hungry, or if it saw something that startled it, or if it was at peace and calm. Like, then they can see all that in the track. That's amazing practice.
Yeah. And so how would you describe to folks, like, how would you tell if it ate something that day? How would that affect the track?
I don't think my skill set is quite that high, but I would guess a little bit more, let's say, dragged out movement, or maybe more pressure in the track, like it's a little bit more calming and putzing around a little bit more. Maybe less aware of what's going on since it's putting energy into digesting some of the food.
Then maybe I'd think also if it's eaten more, it would weigh more. And so it'd push something down. Like if it has prey, you got some mama mountain lion, got some food for her kids. If she's carrying something in her mouth, some prey, the front will weigh more because the head will weigh more. So there'll be deeper tracks than usual. And of course, you got to have the usual tracks for contrast. And then, depending on the size, maybe the front will be a little deeper than usual. And they're more front heavy anyway, but a little more deeper in the front than the back than usual. Things like that.
Yeah, especially like that thing can grab a deer with its mouth and climb, like sit it up there. That's equivalent to me picking like you up with my teeth and like, I'm just gonna set you up here. Like, what a feat of strength that thing has. That's beautiful, huh?
Yeah, truth. Cool.
Yeah, mate.
Or yeah, if like something's walking along and then it turns its head really far to the right, then with the two front tracks, the right will be deeper than the right front than the left front if it turns its head.
I actually feel like the opposite of the hand will go a little bit deeper, since, if you can see on my camera, this is my left hand that I'm moving around. And if I turn to the right, my shoulders tweak slightly to what pulls my right arm in, which would put more weight on my opposing appendage. Take a little bit off of there. So the harder pressure release might be on the outside of the left hand, and a little bit of an extra maybe toe indication on the outside of the right. But since that's being picked up this way, so for a lateral view, if I turn to the right, even just my hand's position like that kind of moves with my shoulders.
That's interesting.
Kind of opposite.
That's interesting. So yeah, we'd have to experiment to see how it works out. Maybe people could crawl. They should crawl anyway. So people could, especially kids, they would like it. You know, a kid would love to pretend they're an animal and have something in their mouth. So they could
Kids love that.
hold something in their mouth and turn their head one way and see how they do it. But then, I guess if you know you're doing it, that'd make it hard, because then with the awareness, it'll change what you're actually doing. So you can't see what would authentically happen. You could skew the result that way, and it would make it hard to experiment.
You're putting too much conscious effort. Well, like we were talking about before, like hit the record button, like kids, they wouldn't have the notion to think about that. So I ran a little part of one of my kid groups. We experimented with balancing something on your back while we're crawling up in the woods. And they wouldn't think to put conscious attention onto how their like feet are working. They're just trying to balance the thing.
If you just tell them to do it, that'd be different. But I'm saying, and that's like, then you're doing what I was saying, because if they know, they're seeing how the tracks are going to be formed, then that's what I'm talking about. That's skew the result. So yeah, you'd have to do it like you're doing it, where they don't know that's what you're looking at. They do it, and then you point out, oh, look, this is deeper than this. You know? Yeah. But, so let me say, so we haven't like dug into your background and stuff, so could you tell folks about yourself and what you do, your college or certifications you've gotten, and like background?
Yeah, so I was born in this same town. I'm not even going to name it because it's getting too popular, so everybody stop moving here, please. After, like, I was a kind of professional BMX rider through my teenage years, and I was a super rebel, like, dirtbag lifestyle. I followed the party scene, and around here, the party scene was camping a lot. So after I turned 18, my parents said, "You are not welcome here anymore. You kind of suck." So the party scene, the BMX thing, all that, we're camping all the time. And after I got a little bit older, I figured I could just go camping every night and save a ton of money instead of like renting out a little like apartment or cabin or whatever my friends were doing. So I still had like a job and a car and all that stuff. I worked for like a local Parks and Rec on the trails crew or whatever. So mowing fields, digging holes, whatever. And I just kind of adopted this way over years of like, I just went camping every single night. That led to me wanting to get really good at camping. If I was going to do it all the time, I might as well kind of know what I'm doing. So I just bought every book I could possibly buy on like plant identification or hunt survival or whatever. I ended up at some friend's house, and he was watching this show. It was one of those dumb survival TV shows, but one of the hosts of it was this character Cody Lundeen. He runs a survival school out in Arizona, and he was just this strictly barefoot dude that they put with this other military guy. And it's a gimmicky TV show and everything, but I looked into this guy, so I immediately like started going barefoot all the time. It was a really enlightening exercise. That's what kind of filtered down all my what am I doing into, well, I want to learn how to survive out here in the wild with like basically nothing on my back. So years of testing that kind of stuff out. I traveled down to his school. I learned from a couple of his instructors that kind of changed my game in primitive fire. So then I just started practicing anything that I could get my hands on book-wise. I would practice it. I would take other people out and kind of show them what I've been learning. And somehow I got involved into seeing something about MovNat. And the original video that probably inspired a ton of your listeners was Erwan's video that he put out a long time ago. The workout the world forgot.
Yeah.
And it's just this dude who's running crazy shit through the woods barefoot. Like, it was beautifully filmed, and he did a really good job with that. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. That looks amazing.
Agreed.
So like how that folded into, like, I never dreamed I'd be able to pull off even being certified or then eventually teaching it, or be like close friends with some of the like top dogs of that organization. Like that.
Yeah.
That's like my brain still hasn't wrapped that around. Like,
Sweet.
How that has out is like amazing. So that's like the short version of kind of where I ended up here. And now I run a few different outdoor wilderness-based camps for kids. I have kid programs for MovNat and wilderness skills. So I'm trying to like kind of blend the two worlds of wilderness survival, wilderness emergency medicine, and MovNat, and make that kind of like standard education. You know, I have access to the school district and the rec district where I am. So I'm trying to change the fucking world like that, man. I can swear on this show, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll limit that.
Yeah. Cool. When did you pass your level 1?
So level 1, I want to say back in 2019, 2 of my friends who were involved into MovNat, Nate Smith is one of them, and Matt Kinnenberg, they teamed up and opened up one of the first MovNat gyms in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only other person that they knew of familiar with MovNat. They invited me to come be a coach, and they totally sponsored me through the level 1 and 2 certification with Danny, and that's how I met him.
Cool.
That's like what I was like looking for. So immediately that year, I'm like, Danny, can you help me out get into level 3? And he's like, yeah, absolutely, get there. And then so that was in 19, I think, at the end of 19.
Cool.
So 18, we're in there.
Sweet. Nice.
And cool. It was beautiful. Like, set up, even just those certification workshops or elements workshops or whatever is so simple for anybody with any basic understanding to kind of get through. And it really breaks apart your old habits. And Danny still makes fun of me to this day about this, how he had such a hard time slowing me down because I was a crazy fast-paced, like, you know, I'm an ex-BMX head, you know, I'm way too fast. So he really helped like slow me down, and that's what established my control of a lot of the movements. So now I get to watch other kids kind of go through the same thing that I did under my coaching, which is magical to see other people go through something like that.
So what kind of stuff did you need to slow down for, and why?
Oh, like balancing, running, jumping. How Danny put it, some people use speed to hide their lack of control.
Yeah.
So parkour athletes are kind of known for this. Sometimes it's easy to run across a balance beam and then make a couple log jumps or river hops or whatnot. But it's much more hard or much more difficult to really slow those movements down, and how your foot is placed on a beam, if it's moving or not moving, or how your jump landings are, and getting ready for the next one. Just kind of being more your control over things. And then that can roll over, at least in my life, that rolls over to stalking animals.
Yeah.
So that's dramatically helped my practice of stocking up on animals, slowing way down and establishing that nervous system control that makes or breaks the difference between if you get food, if you're hunting, or if you just scare animals away like everybody does.
I like your editorial grammar correction earlier. More hard, more difficult. Yeah, nice. On the fly. Good correction. Don't need no college for that. I got nature school, yo.
Yeah, I trip all the time.
Yeah, but yeah, so that's one thing I recommend to people too. A lot of people can move really fast, but can like fall in a mindless, uncoordinated way down the stairs, but can you take 5 or 10 seconds on each step going down the stairs? Can you get on a log and have 1 foot on the log and take 5 or 10 or 30 seconds to bring your other foot down to step? Not a lot of people can do that. They play high school football, college football. Can they do that? No.
No, not at all. Absolutely. I work with some strongman competitors, and seeing some of their lack of control of basic movements is nearly hilarious. Even though they can pick up like twice as much weight as I can pick up, they can't like sit down on the ground comfortably.
Yeah.
Or walk slow, like we were talking about, kind of box walk thing.
Yeah, I like to do that.
So I think a lot of people would benefit from going way down like that, big time.
And then being outdoors helps a lot because you got a lot of immediate feedback. You can kind of sort of do it indoors, but yeah, when you're outdoors, you got leaves and sticks. You step down too fast, crunch, you're not paying attention, crunch goes a stick. So get outdoors where you got the feedback and you got the complex environment and you got the leaves to walk on, dead leaves, and so you can put your foot on the leaves and slowly make a little noise going down and then balance and go to your other foot and put it down. Yeah, great stuff.
And then you talk about immediate feedback. Like, our bodies are literally designed to be operating off of that constant feedback. So when we're walking around on flat surfaces inside or sidewalks, like, our body just pretty much shuts off to a degree. It's not used to having zero or near zero stimulation. So it like deadens or kind of atrophies some of the response ability for your brain to know what's kind of going on in the environment there. So feedback from the nature.
Use it or lose it.
Use it or lose it. And it definitely gets lost. You can kind of look anywhere you want and see the lack of it.
Yeah. Lack of joint mobility, lack of sensation in the joints, lack of awareness of what you're doing, the ability to adapt to new things. There must, use it or lose it. I don't know to what extent, but I'd imagine there'd be some nervous system degeneration, not like using some things too much. I wonder how much degeneration there is of some nerves in the foot, if at all, or not, or when you wear shoes too much, and then through decades, and then maybe less neural activity in joints can become permanent. I have no idea, and I doubt there's much scientific research on that, but that'd be interesting to see what happens, or if someone starts exercising again after not doing much for decades, what kind of neural growth must occur or is occurring to get back sensation and awareness in that area, if anything. I wonder. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And then some of it, like, I've read some of the, like, supposed studies or case studies or tests or whatnot, and a lot of the stimulation in the brain has more to do with response to environment rather than just mindful movement of the body. So in Erwan's new book, I can't remember where it is. It's in that book. Don't remember the exact numbers of it, but they had a study of a group of people doing academic, mindful work at a desk, another group of people doing like yoga, whatnot, and then another group of people simply walking back and forth on a balance beam and like stepping off. And they were measuring hypothalamus function. So what is stimulating pretty much memory, memory cells in the brain. And the people doing academic work, kind of obvious, very little actual stimulation in that section of the brain. But the surprising aspect is the people doing yoga, they found almost the same, maybe a little bit increased, but very little stimulation of that sections of the brain. And then looking at the people walking across the balance beam, I want to say it was threefold compared to the two before it. So way more like neural activity going in the hypothalamus section of the brain. So they're thinking that it was the responding to the demand of the environment which was provoking those areas of the brain to start firing. If those are firing, the rest of the nervous system is what is like telling the part of the brain to fire. If you're just doing, mindful movements, yoga stuff that's beautiful. But it's not activating enough of the brain because there's no environmental demand in place. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then I wonder too, to what extent having to the brain, whatever it's doing, I don't know if people know quite yet, but having to register the commonality and all the variation and noise that would come up in moving through an environment, and all that noise and complexity that wouldn't come up in doing yoga. You're doing stuff, and you got some similarity that the brain can process. Neurons fire together, wire together, but it's very limited. It would take more work and more variation, and things like that have been proven to help learning. Some similar things, it seems. I think it's similar. Like if people do one kind of problem in math, and then another kind of different problem, and then another different, and take a test, they don't do as well as someone who does, like, instead of doing all of your, like, quadratic equations and all of your linear stuff and all of your, like, ratio, if you learn it and you have to do that some at first, but then if you start mixing it up, a quadratic equation problem, and then a ratio word problem, and then a linear, and then a quadratic word problem, and then a linear. When you mix it up like that, it's been proven that you retain it longer and do better. And it's been dramatic results in just doing that simple thing about how people do on a test later. I don't remember what the thing is, if it's like a 50 versus an 80 or 3 standard deviations or something or other, but like in some research, they've had some dramatic differences in just doing something like that. And that seems similar to working with complexity. Then the brain's got to find that commonality. It seems like it's going to help a lot more. And I think, too, it's like there's limits. Some people think, well, the brain doesn't know if you're imagining it or actually doing it. But yeah, sorry, my brain does, and so do I. It's like, why do I have the concept of dream and imagination and actually doing it? Because I know the difference, because my brain knows the difference. And it's not, oh, we can just imagine it, and it's the same as like an athlete doing it. No. An athlete, yeah, imagination and like that kind of stuff can help, but only if you've done it in the first place. Take someone who's never done basketball. Can they imagine doing a free throw in a game or like a 3-point in a game and like then go out and be able to do it? No, because they don't even know what the heck they're imagining, or like the brain has no context for it. So
yeah, they learned it.
You got to have some real stuff. It's not just the brain doesn't know the difference. Yes, it does. And I think that study is one thing you're talking about that shows it,
Yeah. And there's another concept about what I've heard referred to as mirror neurons. So exactly like you were just bringing up to the point, somebody who has done something. So let's say the basketball player, if he played basketball and then he's watching it on TV and he can feel in his body the free throw or the run, some of the same neurons do actually fire in the brain as if that is actually doing it. But it's because they've wired the brain to the nervous system of that specific movement. So me, from my BMX history, if I see somebody 360ing off a big jump, I can absolutely feel every bit of that. And I can get that same like rush I did when I was, 17 or 18. And I can feel through all of that. And it's beautiful. Yeah. If I watch somebody doing something that I've never done before, I can't feel any of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, sometimes me too. It's like you're watching someone do something and it's like you just cringe and feel the pain. It's like, they're going to get hurt. It's like, God, stop. Don't do it like that. Yeah.
Down in the city, all these women walking around in high heels, like, sad. That hurts my whole body, even like seeing that.
Yeah.
Like I can see. Yeah. I swear I can see the bone structure on the inside just grinding on every little bit to constantly be compensating against their body thinking they're always going downhill and then having to recorrect going up straight. Like, oh, it hurts.
And the toes being smashed together.
Oh, those poor things.
Like, might as well put the front of your foot in a vise,
Yeah. Just duct tape it if you're not going to use it.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. Having some of this, since we're social animals, it's good, but then stupid, destructive, injurious things like that can happen too. Stupid high heels, this stupid fashion stuff. guys wearing tight shoes too, destroying our feet, all this stuff. Pretty sad.
So sad. I mean, small products like that could be just slightly manipulated to be a more like relevant and let's call it healthy thing to be utilizing. So the barbecue industry is starting to get like a little bit more popularized and stylish and whatnot. But it's slow going. Yeah. Social conditioning is still kind of dominating everywhere. So when they see the famous people on TV doing something, everybody else just wants to do.
Yeah, nothing wrong with social conditioning because we're social animals. So, it's just a matter of doing it right. We need to like correct it and like get these like actors and stuff out barefoot and wearing 5 fingers or Zero shoes or Vivo barefoot or all this other stuff, you know? Eating right.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Get some of them people doing MovNat and stuff.
Yeah. Sitting on the floor for their interviews on TV rather than on the chair and the couch.
Yeah. And having the Kardashians talk about, look at my new Luna sandals, or look at how my feet are going barefoot now, and we're Kardashians. We're going out for a walk in the woods. This is so cool. Isn't this beautiful? Need to do stuff like that. That'd help.
Yeah. We'll see that soon, hopefully, before the end.
Yeah. I won't hold my breath. I will wish and dream, but I won't hold my breath.
Yeah.
So basically you've got nature school and the School of Hard Knocks, like no college under your belt.
Yeah. I graduated high school and I just immediately went to work.
Cool.
So I got to learn a lot of different skill sets. So even to this day, I customize in like stonework. So this right behind me, I did this yesterday.
Oh, cool.
So Blackstone, build stone walls. I get to do some logging work with a couple of my friends' companies. So talk about MovNat in environmental extreme demand. Like you're just picking heavy stuff up and carrying it in crazy places to put it in the trailer or to lay the stone on people's patios or whatever. Building, maintenance, stuff like that. So it's like half the time I get to do the real MovNat, let's call it. And then the other half the time I get to teach the movement techniques to pretty much children. I dominantly work with kids, anywhere from 5 to 15 years old.
Cool.
And that's more my approach. Like sometimes I can have a hard time trying to get through to an adult with a fully established mind, and their biasness are so hardened concrete that they don't have any room to kind of change their opinion about how they think things are, how they act, how they work out, how they treat themselves. But a kid, like, they're so intensely open to any idea that they'll try pretty much anything. So if I can kind of the correct environment, the kids, they pretty much naturally know like what's going on. You know, they know how to get up off the ground if we force them to sit down. They put a bunch of obstacles in front of them. They kind of know how to like deal with them. And if they don't, I just maybe give a couple hints under the technique and whatnot.
Yeah, cool.
My kid, they like flashy little shoes. My kids are still really young, 3 and 4. So if I can get them those cute little fashion shoes that they like, as long as it doesn't have a heel and as long as the toes are nice and open spread, then I don't care what footwear they're wearing. But that's my manipulation of their environment. So I don't have to teach it. They take over all by themselves. Just change the environment.
But yeah, with parents, older people, as I say, we need the Kardashians. We need tax credits. We need the health insurance companies giving credits for being outdoors and all that stuff. And have like other people, singers have like, I don't know who some are now, but like Madonna from before, have people like that being outdoors, stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, the adults will start doing something different. Oh, look at me. I'm like the Kardashians. I'm like Madonna. Look, I'm outdoors. I'm barefoot. We need that.
Yeah. Doesn't that give away the big hint of like the hypnosis that's through the television? Like if all the adults are just copying what they see on TV or won't believe it unless they see it on TV, that kind of proves hypnosis on the television, right?
And then social stuff.
Maybe.
We're social animals. We want to conform and all that. Got to have something to talk about. I think like Dark Horse podcast, Brett and Heather, they talk about some of that evolutionary stuff, and it's like, yeah, you know, in the tribes from a long time ago, you needed things in common to talk about, and in the bigger culture with people more widespread, then like nonsense like the Kardashians kind of take some of that role, so people have something in common. But it's just got to be stuff that's more rational and more appropriate to human life, and not just fads. And you know, it's like little children just doing something because they think it's cute, and it's not people being wise and knowing the wider world. You know. We need more wisdom, more connection to actual human nature, and some of that social stuff. We're going to connect, you know, we're human, we do that. We have, whether people like it or not, we have hierarchies, you know. I don't care what they think and they want to tear it down, you know. Then they just want to be in charge of the hierarchy. That's all that's happening. We're social animals. There's hierarchies. It's just got to be done right, you know. Yeah.
We have the potential to do it right. We'll see how it works.
Recent human history doesn't show much promise, unfortunately. Hopefully that'll change. But again,
you're optimistic about the future in that.
What?
Would you say you are kind of optimistic about the future of humans in that realm? Because nobody likes my answer.
No. People have free will, so it's not some deterministic thing where we're always getting better. When you actually study human history, which you should more deeply, not kind of the way it's done, it's like an up and down thing. There's great ideas people have that are lost. Just like, you know, like you probably know, some Jewish people said you should wash your hands. And then, oh, that's stupid. Why should we wash our hands? And then it was lost. And then Semmelweis comes along and does a study and says, oh, we should wash our hands because it helps women survive childbirth and all this stuff. I'm a doctor. I'm clean. How dare you say I'm dirty? Like, you're so stupid. And then what do we do now? We wash our hands. Stuff is lost. You know, people knew you wash your hands. It was lost. Semmelweis says it. He's ridiculed. But what do we do now? You know? There's other things like that in human history, too.
All over the place.
You had the ancient Greeks, learned some great stuff. It was lost for a long time. So it's not an upward, ever improving thing. It's up and down. It depends on the choices people make. And so you could say I'm optimistic about the future, but only for some people, not for everybody. Some people, definitely. Yeah, they got it going. People are going to do better after us, but some people, nope. Sadly, nope.
No. That was nature's original plan of trying to kind of mitigate the gene pool a little bit. We kind of took a step around and we're like skipping steps. So now, you know, the weakness is almost taking over. If we get so much supported with too much comforts,
technology.
We don't have anything like heart.
Yeah. So what do you find the benefits of being outdoors are for like yourself and other people?
I try to keep my brain like more simple in the biology realm. So if you're outside, immediately the quality of the air that you're breathing. Everybody knows that's the most beneficial thing to be in your body. That's your very first like filter of toxins. If you are inside, even like in my house, being stagnant, having stagnant air, there's so much buildup of stuff that you could be breathing in. So I guess to answer the question, it's like elemental based. You know, what are the elemental forces that you're interacting with? If it's air, which you have to breathe, if it's dirty, stagnant air from being indoors, it's not going to react very well in your body. So you're going to be in constant defense mode. Being outside, you're immediately changing your whole chemistry by having fresh air. So number one.
Sweet.
And then talking about before, like, once again, being inside, you're surrounded by dead shit. There's nothing alive in there besides, maybe some bugs and a couple houseplants and your kids and dogs and whatnot. Soon as you step outside, there's 3,000 life forms, within 10 feet of where I'm sitting because of the rich ecology that this ground is. And it's biological life. We are a biological life. There's thousands of different things going on just inside our body. And it seems like they need communication and stimulation from all the other biologic life. So raw biology, life needs to feed off of life.
Amen.
And if you separate that out too much, now this life or the organisms that make up our body kind of stop remembering what to do. They don't communicate with each other so much because there's no environmental stimulus going on.
Yeah. Yeah, so like indoors, it's like being buried in a tomb or something. You don't get out enough. You're not connected with life. That's one thing people need to learn more too. Instead of wasting time with some stuff in education, we need something real where people can actually, because if they want to learn in education, you should learn how to think, and you shouldn't be memorize a bunch of stuff. You should know what you're talking about. You should learn real knowledge, not just memorize words. And so people would learn about how they are ecosystems. People are surprised that there are more bacteria in them, more bacterial cells than human cells. We're actual ecologies,
Yeah.
That for that ecology, that's one thing that helps you see what's going on. And instead of being in a tomb, if you're outdoors, the proper bacteria and viruses and mold and mildew will connect with you. And it's like, as some people have said, you've got all kinds of little micro ecosystems in you, like on your forearm, it's like desert. Underneath your arm, it's like a rainforest. In your head, it's like a forest.
Yep.
So there's the bacteria are that different. You might think, oh, it's like just me and there's bacteria. No, it's like the bacteria are different everywhere. In your mouth, in your intestine, in your stomach, on the skin of your arm versus on the skin of your underarm versus like in your nose versus on your head. There's bacteria and mold and mildew everywhere. We don't kill it. We need it to survive. And we're already ecosystems. I mean, how many hundreds of thousands of like bacteria and mold and mildew and all that do we have on us? And then we don't want to be that in a tomb. We want to be outdoors connecting to what's real. That's why, like, again, that's one of the things that was lost. It's interesting when I see some people around here in the morning standing out looking at the sun. I go, foreigner, they're not American. This person, they're looking at the sun. They're like, as people live for like, everyone except for like some moderns, they're out in the first half hour when the sun comes up so it doesn't damage their eyes, and they're looking at the sun, and they're standing in front of it, moving around. It is so cool when I see that.
Love it.
That's what we need to do. Connect, or like vultures, they're outside and they get in the sun. Why do they get in the sun? Because it helps disinfect. Or we make vitamin D.
Pathogens.
It's like you're indoors. It's like you're in a tomb because you're not making vitamin D and getting the stuff you need, and no telling what else we haven't discovered yet that happens when we're out in the sun. You can imagine like food is not just energy, but it's nutrients as well. You need to build, but part of it is energy. Well, what the hell happens in the sun? I mean, we know nowadays photons are electromagnetic radiation, and it's energy, and you're getting at least some energy in your body from the sun. And then,
absolutely.
Has that even been studied much yet? I don't know. How do photons go from the sun to our blood and affect us and give us energy that we can use or not? I don't know.
There's a little bit about that, how we started losing hair, like Australopithecines down to like when Homo started showing up around. Huge neurological boosts started happening as the hair started shedding out. So it was like an adaptation to absorb the energy from the sun, since we lacked the environment which sheltered us and fed us in the past. Whatever the climate was changing around there forced us to be more sun energy dependent at a point. And I haven't been able to dive through too much of the anthropology on that, but that was like the major kicker. Being able to absorb energy from the sun, maybe due to lack of food, and still surviving. Some sort of serious upload that started happening that changed a lot of the chemistry and the whole physiology of the human body. Or
Interesting.
Past ancient hominid forms, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just as important now, too. Probably more important now than ever, since we're lacking of any energy because of our pretty much lifestyle.
Yeah. As I was saying to a student yesterday, teaching him physics, talking about different words to let him know what he's like 12, letting him know what some roots mean, making sense of it. So it's like, okay, just like there's activity and you can be hyperactive, we can use the word hypo, which means under, to say that most Americans are hypoactive, underactive.
Right.
They sit on their butt a lot. That helped him understand what HYPO, hypo, meant for like hyponatremia. Natremia meaning like sodium, the chemical symbol Na people and in the chemical table. And hyponatremia means not having enough salt in your blood. It can be a very dangerous, deadly condition.
Huge. It's an important survival trick, especially out in the desert. Like, carry a salt rock just because of that same idea. Can't absorb the water if you don't have the proper amount of salt to kind of help it along its path.
Let me go turn off my AC really quickly. 1 second.
Sure.
Right back. Sorry.
You're good.
All right. Control nearby. So that was good. All right. So,
there you go.
And speaking of the outdoors, when is it in 2022 this year that you have a MovNat retreat event you'll be doing?
Yeah, that's in August. I want to say it's the 26th, 7th, and 8th. And that's pretty close to where I live. It's over in Conifer. That's 40-minute drive or something for me, which it's 40 minutes to get anywhere from where I am. So that's going to be like a combination of this class or whatever that I've been trying to work on for a long time, and the local people that I used to work for just like wouldn't bite on it. And somehow convinced Danny to allow me to run a course and use MovNat as the way of getting the people involved in it. And cool. I don't want to give too many of the secrets away, but for most people, might be kind of a push. It's not a typical MovNat event where you have, your rigorousness throughout the day, but then you have your dinner or your lunch in the evening. Like, it's not really going to have that. It's going to be a full immersive 3-day kind of challenge, let's call it.
Cool. Yeah, that's something I'd love to go to. I just got to see about my schedule and my finances, but man, I'd love to go. That'd be awesome.
It's going to be super fun. It's kind of like the way that I've been training myself, besides Cody's school and MovNat and books, I haven't really had too much of a teacher. So I read some of the Tom Brown books or some of the other Morris Kohansky books or whatnot, and then I'll go out into the field and I'll test it. So before kids, I had a lot more time that I could actually do that, but I would take a 3-item kit or a 5-item kit or whatever and try to, change it up every time I go, and then spend at least 48 hours trying to feel into the land. And it seems like it takes about that 3-day period for your whole nervous system to like reattune to the natural rhythms of raw nature, like how slow the animals are moving, how the temperature can fluctuate, how you adapt to those things quickly.
You mean for people who haven't been out much, or like what?
I mean, for just the human by itself, like, if you've gone camping like 1,000 times, cool. But have we ditched all the stuff aside from basic support items, and especially like food, like really, really lacking in the food department, seeing how your body kind of tunes in a lot more clearly throughout your surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to try to give people that like realistic experience. That is going to be hard for a lot of people that are used to tanking in like a shitload of calories all the time because of their fitness training or whatnot. So it's a different way.
Yeah. Yeah, I work on some of that to some extent. Just like when I go out, even in the summer, I'm not so unfortunately uninformed about like some people. That's another thing they should learn about water and salt in school instead of wasting their time on some other stuff. Because with something like this, with like water and salt, being indoors, going barefoot, then they can actually think about it and see it and experiment themselves. So they're thinking about how to think as well as what. Whereas if you have this other stuff, I mean, I remember looking at, you get the little, N you cut out and the little G and you put them together and, oh, that's knowing DNA. That doesn't tell me squat. That's like, I don't know what the teacher might think. It might help someone who really has studied that stuff and knows it, but it doesn't do me any good whatsoever. It doesn't help. I'm just like doing this little game. It's like playing Pokemon or memorizing some little game like that. It didn't really help.
Yeah.
Whereas if they do something like this with water and stuff, then they can grasp it. Then it's something that you can like delve into a lot. Well, I mean, what the hell can I do with those little like cut out pieces of paper? Nothing, with little ends on them. Big deal. But with this, there's so much they can go into later in the future. Thermodynamics, water, chemistry, all this stuff, biology, how it relates. But we should learn how much water we actually need, not 8 glasses and this nonsense like that. And about salt, you need salt as well as water. People are dying from long races nowadays because they drink so much water. They get water intoxicated. They dilute their blood. They die.
Yep.
You need salt with it as well. So yeah, it's like you see these people, and it's like maybe 60 around here, and unfortunately, they're not stupid. They're just uninformed, and they've been like misled by people who they trusted and have betrayed their trust. And so they're walking around. It's like 60 degrees, and they're just doing this 1.5 mile loop with this water with them. You don't need water. I'm out for like 2 or 3 hours or more, and it's like in the 90s. Do I die? I'm not a fish.
Yeah.
I'll have water when I get back. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna like stop if I feel like things are getting bad, but I'm never out long enough or don't do it hard enough and stuff, so that I'm not gonna like be majorly injured by my dehydration. I get dehydrated and I rehydrate. It's like I get tired and I sleep, and I go through cycles like that. You get hungry, you get full. You get hungry, you get full. You get a little dehydrated, you get hydrated. Yeah, but so yeah, people need stuff like that. It's like you don't get.
It depends on like the environment. So like,
yeah, amen.
I like training dehydrated and whatnot, but if I ended up in a place or in a section of the woods and I don't have any water, and something happens to where maybe now I cannot get back to my home or whatever, the education of that place, you still need to know how to obtain that out in the wild also. So that's another thing. Like, you go out on a run and you go on a trail, and then somehow like you're miles deep in the woods, trip on a rock and break your ankle. It's like, well, I didn't bring any water with me. Yeah. But now you're kind of setting yourself up for disaster there to a degree. So at least in the wilderness setting, or like settings in general, water absolutely is super important if it is around you. I don't even like carry half the time, but I rely on the sources that I know. This water bottle, to me, well, that's fucking heavy. I don't like carrying stuff if I don't have to. So that's not a smart thing to do in more deeper wilderness environments. Like, I say pack in water.
Yeah, and
sometimes it's hard to find, and if you do, disinfect it at the same point.
Yeah, and you go to some areas and you're not prepared. That's where a lot of these stories about survival comes up, where people die, they get lost, or they're lucky to survive. They go out, on some hike and think it's going to be all like Walt Disney or walking in the neighborhood, and they're totally 100% unprepared for what happens. Unfortunately, it's pretty sad. That's where they need more stuff in education too. Teach people how to think, how to prepare. Pardon? What?
That goes into the basic function of like, well, how does my body work? How does this human animal thing work? If it's dependent on the simple elemental forces, maybe that's the education that needs to spread a little bit more. Like, go about, run around, do whatever you want, but what is the upload needed for the day? So you talk about sunlight in the morning, booster energy production right there, salt to water combo, and then movement stimulation. So all those things are kind of your nutrition in a way. So I consider movement absolutely a nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So it's based on the demand of the environment.
And for your event, so it's going to be 3 days long, and people are going to be out in nature getting real.
Absolutely. I'll do a backpack drop, so I'm not allowing anybody to bring a backpack or a sleeping bag, or I'll let go on some other small items, but for the most part, we're going to provide kits, and it's going to be a very basic thing. It's going to be a small Scandinavian-style knife cutting tool. It's going to be a ferrocerium rod for starting fires. Which this might be in a fire van, so we might have to navigate our way around that. Storm might be approaching.
Yeah, I hear the
boil cup, because we're going to be harvesting our own water and disinfecting it on site, so there's not going to be like too much available, like straight out of the tap, fresh, clean water. I mean, we'll have some for emergencies, but so some way to disinfect that, and then a wool blanket. So more traditional. Sleeping bags weren't even invented till like the late 1800s anyway. So taking the time scale back and just dialing down the high-tech stuff that we're all buried in these days, and knowing that there's, with just a little bit of knowledge and technique, there's absolutely ways to do it as low-tech and cheap as possible. And as far as the kit goes, that's pretty much it. Like, they can bring their own water bottle, but they have to drink all of it before we leave, and they'll have to, gather it and disinfect it, like I said. That's why I say it's going to be like a challenge. Most people aren't even used to that because they pack in all their own water. They're used to the tap, or they're used to this or that, or the little pump water filters that they take with them. Like, we're not having any of that stuff.
Cool. What about, you're going to have them request that they leave their cell phone at base and their iPad at base and stuff, or can they bring that?
I haven't honestly decided. I mean, it'd probably be nice for some of the participants to like communicate with their family if they needed to.
Yeah.
But for the most part,
take pictures.
I'm sure some people will be filming parts of it, which is totally fine. But I might try to like mitigate that as much as I can. Like, if this is a dire emergency or like you really need to be checking on something, like that's okay. But I want that use like absolutely minimal as possible. Like, this needs to mimic a real survival situation.
Cool. What about food?
Some meals will be provided, but it's going to be much less than people are normally intaking, at least is my guess. So fasting practices will kind of be implemented, let's say.
Cool.
And the food will be nutrient dense. The let's call him the chef who's going to cook the food and provide it is an absolute terrific chef. He knows the ins and outs of, nutrition and whatnot. He cooks amazing food.
Cool. Nice.
It's just going to be more simple eating than what people are used to.
And you're going to be teaching like MovNat and survival skills during it?
Yeah, I mean, MovNat's going to be kind of on autopilot. I can hint at technique or pretty much remind people about how efficient they're moving. So I have to focus on efficiency because now it's turning into a calorie game. If you don't have calories to replenish, then you should try to, lessen your demand for caloric output. let's say, don't spend too much energy building your shelter, or at least move too fast or move too heavy of a shit, because you're not going to have the calories to replenish it. So you got to kind of navigate around that to a degree.
And you're going to be moving every day. You're not going to be going one place and staying at the camp for 3 days or something.
I mean, we're going to be building our own primitive shelters that we're going to be sleeping out of. It's a lot of movement around a few 100-acre landscape. It's higher up in the mountains, so it's a pretty mixed forest. It's got some logging cuts. It's got plenty of resources. So there is a lot of movement, but the techniques, or at least the efficiency techniques that I'll have to hint at, is how to navigate through that landscape without, like you said, burning yourself out too quickly.
So there'll be one base camp. You go to one place and you're moving a lot, but staying there?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, everybody will have their huts in a different place. We'll have a central gathering spot where we'll do some skills training. So if it's friction fire or even ferro rod fires, and that will be the water disinfection spot. So since Colorado is like intensely dry now, we might have a gas stove that will still have to be lit with, whatever means that I say. And that will be the way to treat the water if the fire ban is still in place. So there will be a central location for that. But it's going to be kind of explorative. So people will be kind of all over the place most of the time, gathering their resources and their needs. The first 3 days in a survival situation is the hardest. You have to build everything yourself from scratch. And that's all the time that we're having in this bit. I hope your microphone can hear me because the wind's picking up really hard. But
yeah, most of the time. Sometimes you hear it picks up the wind more, but most of the time it's good.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's just mimicking a real survival situation.
Cool.
Really it. Simply put.
So they're going to learn about building a shelter, making a fire, disinfecting water. What about, are you going to do some foraging and tracking and hunting with them or not?
Probably not too much hunting because that's restricted due to licenses and whatnot.
Yeah.
If everyone has them or not. Foraging, definitely, since it's held in August. I don't know where the microphone is. That's berry season, and I know there's a pretty dense raspberry patch in the area.
Cool.
Yeah. And then lots of little just trail nibble snacks and nutritional plants that would be brewed into teas. So the idea of just disinfecting the water and then you're just drinking warm water. Like you said, yeah. You want as much nutrition into that water as you possibly can, right?
See, I don't remember what I picked for this. I got some wild violet, Pennsylvania blackberry, some maybe southern dewberry, common dewberry, Yupon holly leaves. I'm just looking at my tea, folks. I got a little metal tea thing I'm showing to Roary.
Oh,
it's
cool.
Got plants I picked the other day. Trying to remember some of the other stuff I put in it. Oh, and I think some Virginia dayflower leaves.
Okay.
Don't recall what else is in here, but yeah, makes a nice green tea. As you say, nutrient-rich water.
Nutrient-rich water, yeah. If the availability of hunting or game is not abundant in the area that people are, trying to survive in, that's pretty much the best you got. More water with nutrients in it. You're better off just having that than even eating like rabbits or something, which can put you through like a protein starvation is what I've heard it called before.
Oh, yeah. Like I heard when people would be moving across the West, they would eat some rabbits, but then because the rabbits are too lean, don't have enough fat, they would suffer rabbit starvation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So people, unfortunately, it's in one of those little fad things too, like 8 glasses of water. People have some fad about fat, but you need fat, good fats, proper fats. Very important in our diet.
There's an those survival TV shows that really hint at that, and it's like a contest-based show. It's called Alone, and it's actually not really gimmick rich. It's pretty much what you see is what you get. And when you watch some of these people go through it, you know, a lot of them eat rabbits all the time because they're easy to trap or hunt or whatever, and they get pretty messed up because of the fat content. So it's really starting to show people like you literally cannot survive long without a decent source of fat going into your system.
Yeah, so people want to eat a bunch of lean meat, but ain't such a good idea.
Ain't such a good idea at all. No, it needs a good balance.
Eat the good fatty cuts.
All the bristly bits and the brain and liver and heart and all that stuff.
Now, when people are outdoors, they'll be doing walking and crawling and groundwork, and they'll be needing to climb some, or what?
Probably. Some environment could take us into kind of a higher boulder cropping. So if the topic at the time is orienteering, maybe just for the hell of it, we'll climb the mountain, which some of the places has some class 4 pitches, which, you know, that's not like a serious climb or nothing, but it's definitely dangerous. And then I want them to see the view. You know, you get up onto the top of the, you can see, you know, a decent proportion of our section of Colorado here. So
cool. How many classes are there in that thing? Does it go like 0 through 10, or like what? In the class 4 you're talking about?
As far as climbing, it only goes to 5, and then 5, like, this is class 1 is a flat thing. Class 5 is a tree. Okay. And then they'll more strictly define the class 5s based on how hard each handhold is. So it'll be like 5-1, 5-10, 5-11, whatever. And I'm not really sure how that works because I'm not a big climber, at least not anymore.
Okay.
So, yeah, not too serious.
What about at the event? You're going to be having people climb trees or not?
Maybe for fun. There's an important nutrition in some of the pine trees here that I'll teach them about, so they might have to climb some. I just think it's fun climbing trees.
Yeah, and then around here, it's a good skill to have for mulberry trees and some oranges and grapefruit.
Oh, wow. We don't know nothing about that here. You got a lot of deciduous tree down there, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, thankfully, citrus can grow well. So some people have citrus in their yard. You know, not a native, of course, but grows well in the area. And I found some through the years. And being able to climb, I've gotten some good stuff. And like some dewberries. I mean, mulberries. Those are delicious. Really appreciated, not really known much, but yeah. You can pick some off the ground, pick some off low limbs, but then to get more once that's taken care of is get the typical, stereotypical, or what's the word, like, I don't know, get the low-hanging fruit, and then, yeah, if you can't climb, you can't get the rest.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're missing out. Good stuff. Delicious.
I'm kind of jealous of that amount of food just growing in the trees, man. We don't have much of that here at all.
Huh, yeah. But you got raspberries. We don't have raspberries. You got the dewberries, though. You got blueberries?
We have a vaccinium species called whortleberry, which is pretty blueberry. It's just dinky, tiny. It's like smaller than a pea. I've seen some blueberries in northern Colorado a little bit, but not too much right where I am, no.
Yeah. And we got mock strawberry. Indian strawberry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to ask.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I find one that's your pinky nail out here, like that's a blessing, but they're amazing. I'm tending a patch in my little yard here.
Cool.
Of strawberry and raspberry to try to see how abundant I can get them.
Oh, cool. Then we got some other fruit I haven't been able to find too much in the wild, like persimmon. Got some wild persimmon down here, but I haven't been able to find a tree that has the good fruit growing on it. And I don't remember some of the other stuff. And I don't remember it because I don't find it as much. But, hackberries. Yeah. Got hackberry trees.
Oh, cool. Yeah, for plants up here, we really don't have that much. There's some edible greens in the springtime, but they die quick. We have a little elderberry, which I haven't quite figured out how to make the syrup out of. They don't taste very good.
You got what?
Wax currant. Elderberry.
Oh yeah, elderberry. Yeah, we got that too. Yeah. Cool. You haven't made anything out of that yet.
Do you have the blue?
Have what? You say do we have what?
Do you have the blue elderberry or the red? Blue or the red elderberry?
I think we got the red. I'd have to check to verify. If I remember right. Red, I think, but I'd have to look up the species to see. Be sure. Are there just red and blue elderberry? Are there any others?
Just red.
Okay.
That's all we got.
Okay. I think
the blue ones taste a little better.
Huh. But yeah, kind of like the Pennsylvania blackberry is bigger. You know, dewberry, blackberry are related. The dewberry, smaller. Blackberry, bigger. Can be a little juicier and sweeter. But yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. But
beautiful.
What kind of benefits will people get out of the workshop? What do you think? How it'll change them? How it'll help?
Well, hopefully, in general, it'll keep people from dying just being out in the woods. You know?
Amen.
I mean, somebody can die of hypothermia in a 60-degree night if they're not properly prepared for it, especially lacking some of our fancy REI camping equipment. So I want to get people I want people to go outside and play and also know that they can handle being out there completely unprepared. They can be comfortable without any of that stuff. And I just want to show them how to do that. And then just the environment itself is stimulating your cell growth and your cell development to a degree that's hard to mimic. So adaptation under stressful environments. So it's hormesis, I guess, what people will be going through generally. So maybe maybe a general rethinking of their own personal life. I notice a lot when you put somebody in kind of a stressful outdoor long-term or short-term situation like that, they start to recalibrate some of their thinking, about their daily life, and maybe they want to focus on something else or change that way of life that they're doing and adopt a healthier principle. And sometimes just being out in nature for that long, lacking of all your comforts, it really starts to change people's perspective on their life. So maybe therapeutic.
Even being outdoors a little bit. I know with the COVID stuff, people getting out sometimes because they're maybe required to stay at home, some mask and all this stuff. They want to get out, so they start going to parks. I talked to one lady a few years ago at one park, and she was talking about how it had helped her a lot. She felt a lot better. She and her kids, they were out a little bit. Then all of a sudden, one day after being out for a few weeks, it snapped to them that it was really helping them, and they felt better, felt more alive, felt healthier. And they wanted to continue to do it as a practice in the future. So people are indoors so much and they don't know the difference getting outdoors, being indoors, until you get out and you do it. You're not going to be aware of how it can help. Or some people, unfortunately, think I'm not an outdoor person. Well, sorry, but everyone's an outdoor person. If you're alive and kicking, you're an outdoor person. It's where we came from. Yeah.
Outdoor, yeah.
It's I don't think, if you go back thousands of years, I don't think there's any genetic thing that makes someone an indoor person. There's no such thing. I have a gene for being an indoor person. I don't think so.
No. We haven't even adapted to that. We've been living indoors for kind of a decently long time. Not really as a human, but like we still haven't adapted to being inside. We're just comfortable.
Yeah, people get used to it, but it's a maladaptation, not an adaptation.
Yep.
And that's why there's so many health problems. Yeah. Limited movement, limited joint movement, limited amount of fluids being pushed around from limited movement, joints degrading, nervous system degrading, lack of vitamin D, all this stuff. Yeah, I don't think there's been anybody who's evolved to being a quote unquote indoor person and therefore able to like get their vitamin D without sunshine and all this other stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think it's not in the scientific literature in it because it's not in reality.
Cells don't have it in it.
But yeah, I think the workshop you're doing, be like people can get in touch with nature more, build more confidence, which can help in other areas of life. Because that's one thing people do more and more. There's people like corporations and corporate executives I hear doing some of that stuff, doing nature courses, survival courses to help build resilience and confidence in people in the company and the leadership. Because it comes up in a way you can't deal with it. You can't get it otherwise. Just like dealing with PTSD. It's being outdoors around dogs and horses, having to survive on a river. It helps in ways that nothing else does.
Shut up.
How many dogs do you have?
Here. He's old and he doesn't know what's going on half the time.
How many dogs do you have?
Well, we are down to 2. And one of them is nearly 15, being like a bulldog pit bull thing. So he's losing it a little bit.
How old's the other one?
Kiah is 11, I think. And she still acts like she's 3. And she looks like a white fox. Kiah, Hiba. No, she doesn't care. Never mind.
And what kind is she?
She, I don't know. She's, there's a little bit of healer. There's some Siberian Husky. It looks like there's some Shiba Inu, but I don't really think so. Like white fox is what she looks like. A little bit bigger. She's beautiful. 2 different color eyes.
Flox? Did you say
fox? Yeah.
Oh, fox.
White fox.
Okay, I thought you said phlox. I was thinking PHLOX, like the flower. Like, is there a dog breed called phlox, like the flower? I didn't know that. Okay, fox. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a good girl. She's more like a cat. You know, she doesn't really care if she gets attention or not, which is perfect.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, they're interesting. Animals oftentimes a lot more different than some people think. They got their stereotypes and prejudices and don't know animals, haven't been around them enough, don't really know what they're like, or even if it's there in front of their face, some people miss what's really going on, unfortunately. About cats and dogs and all that.
There's a big fear of pit bulls and stuff around here still, and we've had a couple of those, and those have been the nicer ones out of what we've had before. So it's all how I was raised. I mean, humans are the same.
Yeah. And then like the dog whisperer says, when there's a problem, 99% of the time or 99.9% of the time, it's a people problem, not a dog problem.
Yep, absolutely.
And I noticed that even decades ago, before I knew very much of stuff with the horses, in the rodeo around here in Houston, there's a competition where they have, 1 horse, I think, not 2, 1 horse attached to a cart, and they got to go through an obstacle course, like go over a tarp, go to a mailbox, stop, open it up, take something out, put it back in, close it, do this other stuff. And you could tell the people who use their crop a lot, they wouldn't do as well. And they were kind of jittery. The people who were relaxed and wouldn't need to use the crop, they did well. So, yeah, it's that. You could tell the way the person was, how the animal would be. You can tell something about
Yeah.
pets sometimes from, you can tell about owners by looking at the pet sometimes.
Yeah, big time. Big
Yeah.
time.
But, cool. So what other benefits will people get out of this, this thing, or anything else you want to like tell folks about the event?
I mean, really, I just kind of want to see what kind of challenge people are up for, and yeah, to see, like you said, about their confidence. A lot of courses similar to what I'm going to run is used for like troubled youth a lot, especially out in like youth and Montana. The kids that get involved into like drugs and whatnot too early of an age, they throw them in like a survival situation with a guide, and it just reworks their brain to a way that they have a better outlook on life.
Makes sense.
So use example, I guess I'm just trying to anti-domesticate people, and even the strong fit like MovNat characters, maybe they could use a little extra kick from the raw nature and see what they're really made of. So it's an internal thing. It's an individual and internal thing.
Yeah.
For whoever's expectations of the event is not going to match up to what's going to happen. They're going to go through like a mental rewiring to a degree, and
Makes sense.
I've experienced loads of different times on myself, and I just thinking about nature playing a huge part of yourself. How do you think about your life? What do you think you're doing? How's this? Nature can tell you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Get into nature your way.
With the MovNat people, I know, like in my level 2 certification thing, it was interesting that, partly because of opportunity. Like I know people on the West Coast in California that do MovNat, but where they live, they can't get to parks much. They can't help it. It's like they live there, they have their jobs, they don't have some like nature areas too close, not much, so they can't help it. But like, because of things like that, it's the level 2 thing. Me being outdoors all the time, having a creek nearby, we're doing stuff in the grass, and I'm taking off my shirt and rolling around, and everyone else can't do it because they're too itchy. I'm like, oh, cool, and everyone else is, oh, I need to put my shirt on.
Ah, man, yeah, they're not touching nature enough.
Yeah. Or someone does MovNat, and they're dealing with clientele trying to help them move better, and so they're working with people in a gym. You got to start them somewhere. Get them in the gym, then see if you can get them to start going outdoors from there. Nothing wrong with that. You got to start where you stand and go step by step. Do it smart. So yeah, sometimes they don't get out enough. So yeah, something like that would help a lot and challenge them in ways they're not used to, and they could really help you dig down, get in touch with yourself, your human nature, your ancestors, get in touch with the heritage our ancestors left us. In the book, have you read the book Deep Survival by Lawrence Gonzalez?
I don't believe so, no.
Good book. I've listened to it twice. I'd like to listen to it again, but it's about, as the title says, he studied people who've survived disasters and like difficult situations in nature, looked at what's allowed some people to survive and others not. And he's talked about how there's some mindset things that are fundamental regardless of your training. There's people who are highly trained survivalists, or someone who's like a Navy Ranger, or not a Navy Ranger, Army Ranger. Okay, sorry, I'm not stupid, folks. I just misspoke. They're like an astronaut Ranger, Navy Ranger. Okay, Navy Green Beret, man. Okay, but Army Ranger, and there was a case where someone drowned that way because he had been in so many situations. He thought he was like bulletproof, could be a little cocky, and he didn't. He's going on a raft ride, didn't want help, and didn't know the kind of dangers that could come up in this exact situation. So he ended up coming up to some boulder or something in this river and being held underwater and not being able to get up because of the force of the current and drowning. You know, whereas he says you got people who are like 15-year-old girls who come out over someone like that because of certain mindset issues. Really interesting book. Or like he points out that in a lot of situations, it's like maybe the 3-year-old that'll survive because they don't have some of them preconceived notions or misconceptions about the world.
Yeah.
They might be the ones that end up surviving, like more likely to survive some things. But talks about someone who, like, maybe 4 people who are in a collapsed boat. Some guy who got lost in some place where it was really cold, and I don't remember if he had to have something amputated or not, but he was like lost for 3 days, where most people would have froze to death, but he actually survived. Really amazing. I don't remember what it was, but you know, it was like freaking cold. I don't know if it was like 30 below or something, and so the fact that he survived is like, you know, wow.
Yeah.
But
he had the mental capacity of like the will to live.
Yeah. So it's a really good book, and he draws out some really fundamental things about attitude, mindset, principles about how to function, from what these people did. I think he, like, what was he in the Air Force? And I think his father, was like a pilot, maybe World War II, and got shot down. And survived, like, in a prisoner of war camp. And his dad, I think, was bad hurt in the thing, but still survived. So it's some really good real stories in it. Some good lessons. So that's something I might look into. I'll put that in the show notes.
Check that out. Deep Survival. I got it written down.
Sweet. Yeah. All right. Well, let me see. I got to go get ready to drive across town to help someone prepare for what is he doing? Algebra 2 pre-cal final at a elite private school he is tomorrow. So it'd be nice to talk more, but a lot we could dig into, but I told him I'd be there in an hour, so I better start getting ready and get over there. But
absolutely.
Sweet. So awesome. Any like last words for folks?
A couple. I got a question for you. What is something that you want to push out into the world through your show? I mean, I haven't listened to too many of yours, but I want to hear your kind of vision, your goal. What do you want to see in the future? What do you want to see people like in the future, the next generations of?
Connecting to nature, to our human nature, and to nature, to being true to our nature, true to nature, not being afraid of it, being one with it, knowing we're part of the world. It's not separate from us. Does that make sense? Or do I need to like expand on that more?
We're definitely tracking on the right trail. You know, I share a similar, like, I want to see kids, or like my daughter's age or my daughter's generation when they're our age, to be the strong, happy, healthy people that are out promoting this idea of integration of nature into all aspects of life that they can.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like if we don't have too many generations left, and maybe shitty to put such a negative aspect on that, but I'm a realist. Like, I don't see very good things coming out of the future unless we can reconnect to what we are. We are nature. And I will do anything in my power to try to see that future become. Yeah.
So there's all kinds of things that come out of that fundamental idea. So like, I'd like to see people going barefoot, not being afraid of it, having healthy enough feet to do so, growing up, yeah, from when they're young till they're old, barefoot, having shoes on, like at the right times, like, yeah, if you're a firefighter or you're someone cleaning up broken glass, some things like that, or like a doctor in a war emergency room where you got all kind of blood and guts all over the floor, yeah, but people need to be barefoot more, need to get out, breathe fresh air, not be scared of the world, have good posture, be moving well, be thinking well, be good rational animals, not be destroying the environment. Like to see people taking care of it more, being more active instead of complaining about trash, getting out and doing something about it. Or like some people say, if I go barefoot, aren't you scared of stepping on broken glass or broken nails? I go, where is it? I don't see it. Besides, I pick it up. Why isn't there broken glass or a bunch of nails where I run? Because I pick it up. It's cleaned. It's even funny. There's like, I've heard.
And you're aware.
Yeah, I look or snakes. Aren't you scared of being bitten by a snake? Well, yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't want to hurt a snake. I don't want to step on one and hurt one. You're dang right. And yeah, I don't want to be bitten, but knowing it's out there makes me be more alert and aware.
I was going to say the snake is afraid of me biting it.
Yeah. And if there weren't snakes, I could be more mindless when I'm moving and just kind of look where I want. This makes me pay attention, which I like. I want to pay attention and be alert. And that translates into driving and paying more attention to people and knowing alertness and observation skills and doing that when I'm in people or in a parking lot. You get in the habit of looking around. So I do that when I'm driving so I can drive better. And I do it in a parking lot. Most people, they're on their phones, they're walking to their car. No, I'm like looking around, looking at the different cars, looking behind me, all this stuff. And from books I've read, that's the kind of thing that helps keep you safe. Like when you look at like the book Mindhunter by Douglas and some others and some self-defense books, criminals will profile and try to target people who are in their own world and not paying attention. And so if you're walking along... What?
That's what a mountain lion does. It's looking for the one that's not paying enough attention.
Yeah. And notice people, he's not talking about humans. Mountain lions do not come after people. Look it up on Wikipedia or another source. If you think, Wikipedia, I don't trust it. Well, you can start looking stuff and go from there. Look at Wikipedia. If you don't believe it, look at the sources. It's like what? A source is on Wikipedia, so it's not legit? I don't think so. Look at the footnotes, follow things up, look at other sources, but there is some stuff that's legit. If it was totally bogus, no one would ever look at it and it wouldn't be there anymore. Yeah, there's nonsense stuff on it, but there's also some stuff you can use for further research. But mountain lions, no, they don't attack people. He's talking about like rabbits or squirrels that aren't paying attention, or deer, right?
Yeah.
So don't be scared. They're not coming after you. Mountain lions, it's been proven, avoid people. When there's even research done, when they hear human voices, they get the hell out of that area. It's scientifically documented. In other words, in the real world, cause-effect relationships. That's what it means. I'm talking about real science, not that's just science, or the way people might learn in a book. No, when you look at real animal behavior in the real world, mountain lions want to stay the hell away from human voices and things like that.
On the latter, to one degree of that, I have had one friend killed by a mountain lion before.
Yeah, it can happen. Rare. Very
his
rare.
Friend, earbuds in his ears, staring at his feet.
Oh, wow. Sad.
The lion saw that as like, oh, that's an easy kill. He's not paying attention. I'm hungry. He's there, going for it.
Yeah, and sometimes that's just a mountain lion that's hungry or something like that.
Yep.
Not a typical one. But yeah, on the other hand, I've had a human being pull a knife on me and threaten to shoot me in a parking lot. I've had human beings jump me, like 2 or 3 of them when I'm alone. I've had other people threaten me. I've had people going down the freeway wave a gun at me. So
Terrifying.
I'm more concerned about humans than I am mountain lions. Thank you very much.
Yes, I am too.
Yeah.
I am too, big.
Or when you look at human history, it wasn't mountain lions or snakes that had concentration camps or Nazi Germany or who buried millions of people alive in Cambodia. It was humans, you know.
Yeah. The whole Earth's problems seem to be human problems, you know.
Yeah. So put it in context. But so there's some detail about the general idea about what I mean by human nature and connecting to nature and human nature. Barefoot, breathing, being rational. I would like it if people would think more, study more logic, be more wise. I mean, but there's misconceptions about logic in the culture, so it kind of makes sense. But when you learn about it, when you really dig into it, logic is a means of knowing who are the people we love, how to help them, knowing the things we need to love to help humans survive. What's the reason people don't agree with each other or understand? Because they don't think enough about the other person. Who is this person that I love? Why do I like them? What can I do for them? That requires thinking. It requires having correct thoughts, which means being logical. Logic is a means of knowing about how to love something. Or like people make mistakes with horses because you don't understand its nature. Why don't you understand it's the nature of a horse and what they need? Because they don't think about it enough or apply logic. Logic is what's the nature of the thing. It tells you that. And what's the cause-effect relationships involved? And that's what science tells you. What and why, fundamentally. Cats, dogs, horses, food. If people were more logical, then we'd be better off. And that's another thing I'd like to see. Or like philosophy means love of wisdom. We know wisdom is important for survival. Well, part of philosophy, people know, people who are wise, like people in different cultures are known to be wise, to make good decisions in history. Well, if they're wise, they're able to see who's right and who's wrong in a certain situation. How do they do that? They have to be able to think well. You got to know what is the truth, and that's what logic helps us do. That's what logic really is. It's a tool for knowing the truth and being able to survive better and get the values we need. And so that's part of what I mean by knowing our nature and being true to nature. If people would do that as well, but go barefoot, get out and breathe, be social, be rational and logical in a proper sense of the word. I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm after. You know, connect, be whole, be integrated, be holistic with yourself and with nature.
I see passion in your movement when you told me that. So
thank you.
It's exactly what I wanted. That was amazing.
Yeah,
well put.
There's some answer to your question. Beautiful. I have a degree in philosophy, so I could go on and on, but time's limited and finite. So
yeah.
And you say you had two things. You wanted to ask a question, and what else?
If people are interested in this event, hopefully we'll be doing it a lot more often in the future.
Sweet.
But
good.
Just on the website, MovNat's website, MovNat.com.
I'll put a link to it in the show notes.
Yeah, and then if people want to find me directly to make me kind of kick their ass out of nature a little bit deep.
Yeah, sweet.
I got an email. You can put my email on the link to your show. I barely know how that whole works.
Yeah.
Very computer illiterate, you can tell. But I look forward to kind of just joining you on this journey of
sweet. Yeah.
Trying to help people get involved, get outside.
Be nice to talk again. But yeah. And so if someone wants to come up there for a weekend or a vacation, you could maybe work with them for a weekend or a week. Is that something you might do with people?
Absolutely. I'll just keep in touch with people through email and make it very simple.
Cool. Yeah. It'd be nice to have events with with that, or if someone is a company or a group and they want to bring people up there, that'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you got a bunch of survival skills training under your belt, and you're MovNat level 3 certified, so you're a fitness trainer. So
also a wilderness first responder.
Cool. Certified. Cool. So with the MovNat stuff, like someone might be highly certified and maybe they're certified in the gym so they can use a certain machine. You can know how to push a weight following a certain track. And so the little bar stays in the little track, and some people are certified with that. That's nice. But for MovNat, so people know, so Roary is certified to help people move in the real world, in the outdoors.
Real capability.
Yeah, so it's different than some other movement systems. So, we could help train SWAT, wilderness firefighters. Because I know some people think they know everything, but we don't. There's still a lot people could learn about how to move more effectively in the environment, in a wildfire, how to crawl, how to climb, all this other stuff, do it efficient, do it in a lot of different ways. That's something you could do to train people as well. So that lets people know, like in extreme conditions, outdoors and survival. So Roary, you're like a master of moving through that kind of situation. So that's kind of certification we're talking about. Yeah.
I learn. The more I learn, the more I figure out I don't know shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm a good pusher, let's call it. I'm a good coach. I can put people in shitty situations and tell them it's okay.
Yeah. And then it's cool because with that, it's like when you're out and you learn, the more you learn you don't know is kind of the real meaning of it. You learn that there's all these things I want to know that I don't, that I'd like to, all these questions I have, but still, you still got all this competence. And you couldn't have, and that's like what one thing Newton said, even though that's like kind of where some of this comes from, that phrase. He said, for all he's discovered, he felt like a child on the beach exploring one little shell and then looking at another, because he knew, even though he had made all these great discoveries that no one else had and did all this great cognitive integration, he knew that there was so much more out there for him to learn, and that's what he meant. He had a notebook with questions in it he didn't even get to answer in his life. He knew that he's on this beach and he's looking at this one little thing and studying it, but there's all this other stuff out there that he could study too, and it's just unknown to him. So yeah, agreed.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Okay. Any last words for folks?
Go outside.
Amen.
Outside is the right side, and that's all you need to.
That's a good way to put it. Hadn't heard that before. Outside is the right side. Nice.
Outside is the right side, man. Be a human. Love each other.
Or is I like the way Tom Brown the Third. Oh yeah, it's like the third. I was forgetting to specify. Tom Brown Jr., Tom Brown the Third. Tom Brown the Third is who we were talking about. But as Tom Brown the Third likes to say when he ends a podcast, be a good human animal.
Be a good human animal.
Yeah. Amen.
Sure.
All right. Thanks, Roary. Appreciate your time and everything. Awesome.
I look forward to talking to you again, Michael. Thank you.
Awesome. Will do. Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.